Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. So I've made it up to a place today called Rogers Folly. As you can see, it's a really interesting building here. I believe it was built in 1798. Really interesting. It reminds me of a sandcastle. Lovely shape. So the plan was to just try and get a couple of photos here if possible. I have been up here a few times before and I find it quite a difficult thing to photograph. Apart from the building, which is obviously really incredible, it's sitting on top of a hill and there isn't actually much else around it. So finding compositions has always been a bit tricky, so I thought I'd challenge myself today, see if I can find anything. I'm just having a look around now, but there's not a huge amount up here. There's another interesting building off to the right, a derelict building I'm going to go and have a look at. But yeah, I thought I'd come up here just to see if I can get a few images. It's a really lovely place. You get 360 panoramic views. To the south you can see Mounts Bay, St Michael's Mount, and Penzance there. And then on the other side you can see the north coast, Gwyvion Beach and Hale. Really lovely views. So yeah, I thought I'd come up here and see if I can get some images. The plan today, it's strange weather. It's the sun comes through every now and then, but it's quite low cloud. So I'm not really sure how it's going to work. But I'm keen to just get some photos. I've bought a couple of rolls of Ilford FP4 with me. And I also, when I was sorting out my gear last night, I managed to find 2 rolls of Rolly infrared for the 35mm. It's not what I'd usually choose to shoot it on, but I bought my 35mm Minolta X300, so if it does brighten up a bit, I might try a bit of infrared. Yeah, so I'm going to have a little wander around, see what we can find. But yeah, really cool place, and yeah, see what we can get. So I've come into the derelict building, and it's still actually got the Cornish range oven in it, which is quite impressive. Yeah, a bit of a sorry state, but it's impressive that it's still there. I thought we'll get a couple of images. Lovely textures on the front there. So I'll get a couple of images, perhaps one close up and perhaps one with a bit of the chimney and stuff in it. Yeah, settings wise, I am at 1/60th of a second, f11, and I'm using my wide angle lens. Okay, so I reckon I've been trying to find a composition for about an hour for Rogers Folly, and I haven't managed to get anywhere at all at the moment. I'm not going to give up on it. I'm going to go around the other side and see if I can find something around there. I did manage to get a couple of images inside the derelict building, and I've just walked down here and I found a scene I quite like. Basically I'm looking through there's a quarry just to the side of us here, and there's some big mounds of all different things they're digging up. And it's quite made up of triangles, which I quite like. And in one of the triangles, you can see St Mary's Church in Penzance. So I stuck on the 250mm lens to try and isolate it as best I can. And yeah, I think it might make quite a nice image. So settings-wise, I'm at 1/60th of a second, f11, and that's with a red filter and a graduated filter. So yeah, going to try this one. Okay, so I've set the camera up here. I think this is probably the best composition I'm going to get. I'm going to take 2 different images here. I'm going to take one as a long exposure and then one just standard with a red filter. I've got the 2 trees here on the right and then Rogers Folly Tower there off to the left. The sky is quite nice, it's moving a bit. On the long exposure it might end up just a white mess because it's moving so fast. But yeah, I'll get that one. So settings wise, I'm at f11 and it's 30 seconds for the long exposure and 1/30th of a second for the standard one with the red filter. So grab these 2 images. I really do think it's probably the best I'm going to get here. I just can't see any other compositions at all. There's just nothing else around. But yeah, at least I've got a couple anyway. I'm going to have a wander further down and see if there's anything else down there. I've only managed to take about 8 photos so far, but I might just leave it at 1 roll today, see how we get on. I'll take these anyway. So I'm going to get a couple of images here. I'm using the main footpath here leading you up to Rogers Folly. I imagine it'll make a nice lead-in line towards the building there. I've also stuck on my wide angle lens, and that's to incorporate as much of the sky as possible. So I'm trying to go for a moody image here. So I've stuck on a 3-stop graduated filter to try and darken down that sky, just to create a bit of mood and atmosphere. And the settings for that one are 1/60th of a second at f11. And then after I've taken that one, I'm going to do the same image again with a 10 stop. Again, just trying something different, you know, trying to get a bit of movement in the sky, hopefully create again a bit of atmosphere. And the settings for that are f11 at 1 minute. Yeah, so we'll try these two images. I've just got no confidence in the images I've taken today. I'm just not feeling like I've got any good images at the moment. But if I could just get one decent image I feel good about, which I haven't got yet, hopefully a bit better. I do like the light hitting the Rogers Folly with the dark sky in the background. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they do come out. So I've walked around to the other side. You can see the derelict building we were in earlier. I quite like the scene here, the way the hedgerow sort of leads you up, and this tree off to the right, which I particularly like. So I am going to try and get a couple of images here, possibility of perhaps a half decent image here. So I'm going to do two photos, one a wide angle to incorporate obviously more of the foreground and the scene and the sky, and the second image with the 250mm lens just to isolate the trees and the building. But yeah, hopefully something a little bit more promising, but we're not going to get too excited. Settings wise, I am at f11 and it's 1/60th of a second. So while I've got the 250mm lens on, I'm just going to take a photo here I've just spotted. It's of Rogers Folly, but it's through the bracken. There's a little bit of a gap in the bracken there. I quite like the way it's sort of tucked around the building, and obviously that'll all be out of focus with the building actually in focus. Something a little bit different, a bit abstract. Yeah, I'm going to grab this one. Settings wise, same as earlier, f11 at 1/60th of a second. So I've actually just spun the camera around the other way from the image I just took, and I quite like the scene looking back down towards Penzance there. I like the fact you've got the quarry workings in the foreground here, and there's a few nice lines and things leading you down there. Yeah, I think it's quite interesting. You've got St Mary's Church down there you could just about make out, and you can even see Newlyn and Mousel off in the distance. So yeah, I'm going to take an image. I don't think it'll be the most amazing image, but I think it's still quite interesting. So settings wise, I'm at f11 and 1/60th of a second.